Hello and welcome to another episode of the DewatchPod Recap Podcast. I am Jorgen Smorgasbord.
And I am Jim with a G, and today we're going to be saying goodbye to another sci-fi anthology series here on the pod.
Yeah, we say sci-fi anthology series because we've watched an anthology series and just watched the sci-fi.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is called Love, Death, Robots. I think it's not,
Yeah.
I don't think it's cheating to call it primarily sci-fi.
And of course, we have watched some of the highlights from each season in season reverse order.
As determined by me. And we have opinions about other alleged highlights, such as Free Robots, that we will be not covering today.
I mean,
we've not seen them.
Maybe a little bit.
I mean, you have a smattering of other stuff that you can cross-reference.
That's right.
But if we're going to be looking at what we have watched today, and by today I mean over the course of like a month and a half.
Yeah, something like that.
We have watched
maybe 2 months and a bit.
That sounds entirely possible.
Oh no, we've done a bit more recording of late.
Yeah, we have watched Spider Rose,
Golgotha,
Swarm,
The Very Pulse of the Machine,
Snow in the Desert,
Pop Squad,
Beyond the Aquila Rift,
Good Hunting,
and Zima Blue just now, recently. We were talking that this is probably technically the largest recap episode we've done, because these are...
It's probably like equivalent with Strange New Worlds. Oh no, Strange New Worlds might be smaller. You're right.
Yeah, because it's four... Though to be fair, in season 4 of Strange New Worlds, we did like 5 episodes.
No, you're getting mixed up with Lower Decks.
That's true. I am doing
that. I guess Lower Decks is technically the biggest recap.
I think so. But nevertheless, we are here now with Love, Death, Robots, and let's appreciate our time together with this strange little series.
Yeah.
Beautiful animation, incredibly varying plot quality, a lot of extraneous stuff is how I would try to pitch a review title.
Yeah, and Jim, would we recommend watching not the series as a whole, but these episodes that we've watched?
Yes, overall.
Yeah.
I will leave a bit of space here. I don't think these are the only good episodes.
There are a few more
that you have watched, for one thing, but I think in general, also, as mentioned, we did try to keep it on the sci-fi.
And
there's a few good episodes. I quite like Jibaro in season 3, which is an entirely fantasy episode.
All right.
But I would do some aggressive vetting.
Well, I mean, I think vetting is just not time effective.
I suppose, but I would just run the IMDb and cut out everything below a 7.
Well, definitely cut out everything below a 6.
There's a surprising amount of stuff below 6. I think Golgotha is below 7. I think it might be 6 point something.
Yeah.
And it's still okay. So, fair enough. But, when it's bad, it's bad. I tried to warn Jorgen about this, and he was like, it can't be that bad. And then he watched them, and he had a minor existential crisis.
Yeah, no, one of them is just a Kiss music video with puppets.
Red Hot Chili Peppers, first of all, but...
Don't care. They're all the same.
There was a moment there when you were watching Kill Team Kill from season 3, I think, where I was like, I think there's a chance he gives up on culture after this.
It was so much further in time than you would think for something that goes hard on Honey Badger as its only joke.
Every now and then I do experience that phenomenon that someone has grabbed onto a decade-old meme, sometimes longer, and they haven't let it go, and you're like, how did that happen? If you were in touch enough with the culture for a certain definition of in touch that you picked up on this, how have you not realized it hasn't been around for a decade and a half?
Yeah, no, and while we're airing gripes against episodes that we haven't discussed on air, let me just put a brief flag in John Scalzi's weird grudge against the smart home. Yeah, it sucks, but like you're not good at doing complaining.
Are you watched the other ones about like customer service and stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've watched customer service and smart appliances
yeah.
dumb users, and God, John Scalzi, like, become just like get in the de-aging machine or like retire right the fuck now. You're
It's
old.
it's as like modern SNL quality stuff, you know? It is a 50-year-old comedian having the first thought about something new and no one going like, this needs to be forged a bit more before you put it out there.
Yeah, no, like it's not even like taking aim at the wrong things necessarily. Except for like the second smart appliances one, which is just like weirdly misanthropic.
Which one's
Um,
that?
oh, where it's like, oh yeah, no, I'm a waffle iron and I'm not being used. Like, what are you doing?
Waffles are good, man.
Yeah, I made waffles the other week. It
Did
was
I
good.
miss that?
Really? I thought I offered you waffles.
Maybe I just didn't listen.
Well, serves you right.
I was thinking about our waffle iron, and I was like, "Have we used that?" I was like,
I have.
I'm very pro waffle."
Someone else put it on the pile of free stuff because the
Oh yeah.
light doesn't tell you when the waffle is done. So you just gotta vibe it.
I mean, it's not that hard to be fair, but
Yeah.
nonetheless, yeah. There's a lot of. I think like that is a peak of a particular trend of some of the bad Love Death Robots episodes, where it is comedian on stage doing what's the deal with and like desperately trying to get somewhere before he's like thrown out by security.
Yeah, or it's like, here's one idea. What if there were monsters in the tall grass?
I think that episode is completely okay, but it is
No.
okay.
No,
But
it's so low effort.
I mean, there's a class of episodes as well that are just like, here's some cool animation, and don't worry too
Yeah.
much about anything else.
Well, now, we should probably not have led with just being annoying about things we don't like, and instead have do what we're doing now, which is talk about the episodes that are at least in substantive portion decent.
Yeah, and before we do, shall we go through the great list of content warnings?
Indeed. This is the most episodes we've done, so this is the most content warnings we have.
All of this is after we've tried compressing it a bit, we should say.
Yeah. We have content warnings for such basic things as violence,
Gore,
mass death,
chemical weapons,
a person getting eaten.
alien invasion,
We are already in the non-basic stuff, but we're looping around for a bit of sex,
body snatching,
mind control,
vomit,
death,
suffocation,
drugs,
vehicle crash,
suicide,
torture,
child murder,
body horror,
colonial violence,
sexual violence.
and amputation.
Dude, it's I've thought about maybe we should organize this by basic to advanced, but I also think something about doing it in the order of as we watch them gives a certain image of the journey we've gone through, right?
Yeah, and good lord, it's weird to be back in the content warning heavy zone.
Sci-fi aimed at adults and meant to get something across in very short order, I think bends towards heavy and sometimes very specific content warnings.
Yeah, no, like if I feel like Love, Death, Robots has like a fair amount of stuff that like a child is going to like in 10 years go like, why was I allowed to watch that?
Yeah, I don't think Love, Death, Robots is making it through though, because there's a lot of genitals on screen.
Well, yeah, no, I don't know. I think like it's the sort of thing where it's like, oh, you know, my child can have Netflix. Like there's nothing interesting on Netflix that would give my child trauma.
I choose to believe that like creepypastas will remain relevant into the future, and I'm always going to be curious about what's going to be produced like 10 years from now when these people are teens who might have seen it as children, you know?
I mean, at least one person is going to write her and think it's an original idea.
Bleak, the second coming. But nevertheless, I want to say, like, I think Love Death Robots has so many running issues But I do also want to say that, like, at times I am genuinely impressed by how much they are able to get their ideas across in such
Mm.
a limited amount of time, right?
Yeah, no, like I do think we we had Black Mirror and we complained so much about Charlie Brooker just like spent like both drawing shit out
Yeah, yeah.
and just like sort of peppering the middle section with like ideas that he doesn't end up exploring.
Yeah.
And this one is just like ideas that are just like never stretched to the point of like this would have been interesting if you had just like focused on the first thing.
Yeah.
But instead, you know, you had to like make like three twists in it, and it's like, oh yeah, no, no, this is the first thing. And that's like really good at times. I think like for me, maybe the highlight is Beyond the Aquila Rift of that.
Yeah.
Because it's such like a good dense piece.
I think it's incredibly efficient, and I think the second part of that is that, like, there are times where you could feel like someone else, say Charlie Brooker, would have taken that opportunity and stretched it, and they're like, no, we're resisting that. Like, the moment he goes, is this a simulation? She goes, yeah, yeah, it is. Like stuff like that, right? Where you're like, we could pad it out, but like the conclusion has already been signaled to the audience. So okay, let's do that then. Let's
Yeah.
actually go through with the conclusion.
Yeah, no, I would love to see like two or three Love Death Robots episodes that are just like Charlie Brooker forced at gunpoint to be succinct.
Because I think that's the point, right? Is that like Charlie Brooker was, to the best of my understanding, already an established writer by the time he started Black
Yeah.
Mirror, and then it popped off, which is why the earlier seasons are maybe a bit more focused. And I just think about that in the context of Love Death Robots, where like these are like animation is not like an area of the technical industry where you have a lot of like job security or
Yeah.
like margins to go on, right? So when a big show like this is like, hey, do you want to produce something for this? You don't go like, yeah, I think I'll take like 40-50 minutes, and like I'm gonna weave in a lot of my like personal gripes and random ponderings. No, you're like, yes sir, on it. I'll
We
get you
like
something.
money, and being given a bit of creative freedom sounds fantastic.
Yeah. Like it certainly speaks to it, and like there are times where I maybe would say it suffers
Yeah.
like a little bit. Like there's stuff like I think Good Hunting and like Snow in the Desert, very different in a lot of ways, but I think there's also a part where like there is stuff here that could be explored.
Hmm.
Good Hunting more explicitly so than Snow in the Desert. Um but like there is something there, right, where they're like hinting at stuff, but don't they don't make the time to explore it in its full potential, but they're also all not going full like, ah fuck it, we're just animating some pretty stuff, which is what some of the episodes are doing.
Yeah, I think Zima Blue could be like a fairly nice, like long version that's sort of like Memento, just like
Hmm.
exploring both directions from the middle out.
I can say that. I think also just in general, if you had a bit more space and time, you
Hmm.
could probably let go a little bit of the narration, right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
find more space to convey things visually, which
Hmm.
I think would actually work better with the pitch. But also, as mentioned in that episode, it's probably a lot of work to animate like that, and it's already like I think Zima Blue is quite divisive. I think it's broadly appreciated, but I
Hmm.
think it is probably the most pretentious episode of Love Death Robots we've seen.
Maybe. I mean, like
But I think it works.
an interesting thing because like I've watched like a decent amount of other stuff. I'll probably get around to like the rest of the seasons.
Hmm.
Um, like I'm pretty sure that studio has like done other stuff for Love Death Robots. I'm thinking of one episode named Ice,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like going purely by style. It's like, yeah, no, we're bringing back the vibe, baby.
yeah,
And in that one, it is just like, no, we're not doing narration. We're just like telling like something a bit more simple.
yeah,
But you know, it's still gorgeous. We have like and that one's like a and it but it has to be more simple, right? So I think with Zima Blue, they were like, we have something and we're going to swing for the fences.
yeah,
And I do appreciate that to just artistically. Um it I was like a bit worried that because it's this many, we're going to be mostly thinking about the more recently stuff that we've seen.
Mm.
Um, I hmm, I think Spider Rose was like a good beginning.
Yeah, I
That
think
like
so too. It feels very neutral in a way, right?
yeah, no, it's sort of like sets expectations. It's like, oh yeah, no, we're going to have interesting stuff. And it's not quite going to be there. But
Yeah,
it's
I because
yeah.
because when we started talking about Love Death Robots, like us doing that as an intermission season, you were like all 4 seasons, and I was like, what do you mean four? And so I had to watch season 4 before we started. And when I got to Spider Rose, I was like, this is like this goes on the list of archetypical Love Death Robots episodes to
Mm.
me. So I was like, I think we have to start here. Also, there's not a huge amount of sci-fi episodes in season 4, but so, but like I do think it is, as you say, like the opposite of a palate cleanser. The like, hey, you're gonna have a burger. Here's a small piece of a burger to get you acclimated. Um, but yeah, there's certainly I think Spider Rose. I think like Swarm. I think like Snow in the Desert. These are all sort of like variations on like a standard sci-fi
Yeah.
emotionally tinged adventure, and they do it to different qualities. But I think there is like that sort of, there's setup of like, oh, where are we? To followed by like, here's the fundamental conflict. Here's like the sci-fi setting that imposes this conflict, and then usually some sort of apocalyptic event ends
Mm.
it in a way.
I'm trying to think because sort of looking back, I'm struck by the fact that like Spider Rose like lands so much better than Snow in the Desert,
Hmm.
but they're quite alike in that they're sort of
Yes.
like short stories punctuated by like a little bit of violence um that that aren't like that complex. And I'm trying to think like why does Spider Rose like get so much more grace from me?
I think honestly Spider Rose just hits upon like an actual theme more so. Like I
Mm.
feel like Snow in the Desert just kind of goes like, hey, immortality, ain't that weird? And then they just kind of leave it there.
Yeah.
Spider Rose actually feels like it engages with like the core
Yeah.
components of like isolation and loneliness. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a complex story,
Mm.
but it does it, you know?
Yeah. No, it's you know what? Not that complicated upon reflection. One of them is more thematically deep than the other.
But I think also like the other part is that there's a couple of episodes that I get, I want to say like meditative almost,
Mm.
and they have different like emotional valences. But like to me, Golgotha, like the very pulse of the machine, and Zima Blue are similar in some way in that regard,
Mm.
right? Where they're like, hey, let's ponder something for a bit. Let's ponder this like interaction between humanity and the wider universe at large, and like what that means for us. And like
Mm.
Golgotha is quite black comedy. The very pulse of the machine is like a drug trip, and Zima Blue is this like just like a metafiction about artists, you know. But like I do think they
Yeah.
speak to like a similar vibe of like how you're going through the episode, where you're like
Yeah.
confronted with this like unknowable thing, and like, all right, and here comes the hammer.
Yeah, no, it is.
Swarm to a small extent, I suppose, is kind of the hybrid there between the sci-fi adventure and this sort of like
Yeah.
meditative journey.
I will say, like, sort of the Swarm and Spider Rose sort of duo, because they're like, seem to be like set in sort of like a shared
Yeah, yeah.
universe. Like, I was really disappointed that we didn't get like a lot more of that. Because, like, I do sort of uh really like fiction that is like um doing world building simply not like by shared characters but purely by shared world.
Mm. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, so we get in Swarm, we have the like they're called something like they have a the
Yeah.
but like the merchant
Yeah.
species, like they're just like transporting you there. And then in the second one, like in Spider Rose, we get they are actually like quite central in a certain sense,
Yeah.
mostly in hindsight, but like they're clearly playing a role here in manipulating the events. You know,
Yeah,
it's a bit of a G-man situation.
and like I think that maybe like snow in the desert, for instance, could have like really benefited from like the just being placed in a wider world, and it just wasn't.
And yet I also feel the issue with snow in the desert is the world building.
Yeah,
Like the
no,
world building's kind of the cool part, but it also goes nowhere, right?
yeah,
Like I kept thinking about that after we recorded that episode, where I'm like, okay, like just looking at some very base storytelling practices, the first couple of things you establish about a world and a story should be important, right? Like, what are the first three pieces of information we get about the snow in the desert? There's a guy.
there's like a really deserty planet.
Yeah, there's a town in that deserty planet.
Hmm.
And the third real thing is if you steal water, you get horribly tortured to death.
Yeah, not important, any of those.
And
I
it gets
guess,
reinforced in the cantina. Hey, look, we have code locks on all the beverages. And it
yeah,
plays no role in the wider story, except for a moment they're like, yeah, I have a lot of water in my weird desert hideout. And you go, okay.
yeah, no, like, I guess like an interesting way for that to go would have been if someone had been like, Anna, we didn't realize you were immortal. We just like sort of figured out that you're sitting on all that water, dickhead. We could have like been raising crops over here or
The
something.
Robin Hood style thing.
Um,
But yeah, no, it's bizarre. Like the world building in like an anthology show is always very important
mm,
and very interesting to me, right? Like I always think about the thing I always think about with Black Mirror is the part where they start getting insecure about their own premises and they go, so this technology is actually banned everywhere else. Anyway, and I was
God,
like,
Love Death Robots wouldn't do that to us.
I don't think so. I think a lot of robots, if you'll allow me to make the joke on Snow in the Desert, it has balls, if you will, to go ahead with what it's doing. It wasn't worth it. But like I do think there is a bit more wasted flesh here. I do think Black Mirror rarely world builds too much. There are times where it doesn't use it properly.
Nah.
But I think rarely am I like, that was completely I didn't need to know about the like French-Belgian border conflict in the background of like
Except, of course, for your least favorite episode, maybe?
Metalhead.
No,
Or you think about Beyond the Sea?
I was thinking of Beyond the Sea,
I
where the world building doesn't matter.
I don't I that's the thing is I don't know if it's world building. It's just bizarre.
Yeah.
It's like someone welded like an extra chapter onto like it's like if you're reading a fantasy novel and then there's a map of a different world and you go, "What? This must be a printing error. Why would you put that in here?"
But I gotta say, like, I'm a huge sucker for world building. Uh, like, I have just, like, seared into my brain, like, just, like, one section from The Witcher 3. It's just like, hey, here's one quest that is just, like, brief set of, like, dimension hops through, like, 7 different dead worlds, and it's just, like, it just, like, really hit me in a place where I'm like, I want that. I want that really badly.
Yeah, I don't care for world building personally. Like I also think about this in the context of like I think you can do a bit of extraneous world building and it's fine. Um,
Hmm.
like I think sometimes about Disco Elysium, which is like this very unique world building project, and I think it largely started as a world building
Yeah,
project before
yeah.
it became like a game as such, right? And there are parts of it where I'm like, I don't think this means anything in the story. Like there's stuff like about like spoilers for Disco Elysium. There's a part where you find out like about the holes in the world and stuff
Hmm.
like that, and those are cool, and I don't think they add much to the overall story and themes, but they're cool and they feel fine in the story. And obviously, you have more space in a game than like a 10-minute short and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, I think there is space for extraneous world building. What bothers me when it comes to stuff like Snow in the Desert is that you can't establish that so prominently, right? It has to be like a side shot or something, not like the main one of the earliest main things you focus on and then reinforce, right?
No, you see, it's about the water of life because they don't have enough of it, so they're really jealous of the immortal.
I never know. Snow in the Desert is actually deeply metaphorical as a story. Um, but I think broadly, like, Love Death Robots is not bad in this regard. It's just on occasion it does stuff
Yeah.
like this, right? This also like I think this might be more in other in episodes we have not specifically watched together for this podcast. Like you watched How Zeke Got Religion from season 4,
Mhm.
right? Um, and actually, there's a I had a pondering because one of the more popular episodes of season 1 is called The Secret War.
Mhm.
You haven't watched this, right?
No.
So I think you would hate it. It's about like a Soviet battalion going to like somewhere in Siberia to hunt out like a demonic portal, basically. And it's mostly an action episode.
Ah.
But it reminded me a lot of How Zeke Got Religion in that sense.
Hmm.
But that is one of those more like animation and vibe heavy rather than like
Yeah.
story heavy episodes.
No, like when I was a child, I was like, why isn't all of Iron Man the action scenes where he's Iron Man? And now I'm like, oh yeah, no, I really don't care about like the action if there's not a lot to back it up.
I am generally not someone who enjoys action. I will make an exception for like very good animation.
Mm.
Like I stood out for a couple of seasons of the Ruby show because the animation was so good.
Ooh,
Yeah. Like the action animation was so
yeah,
good, everything else was quite faulty. But like I was there for a while because I was like every now and then there is just like like just incredibly beautiful animation.
mm.
And it's like it's almost like watching a technological marvel. What if we did a Ruby Day wash?
No,
Yeah, no, that's reasonable. Um but yeah, like and there are some episodes of Love Death Robots that's like that. Um at times I feel like they can drag a bit. Um, but I also get why you do that. It makes sense in the context of what this show is and what it needs to present, right?
wait, where's the ah, Sunny's Edge somehow is not here.
Oh, right, we forgot to mention Sonic Edge that we
Yeah,
watched.
so like even Sonny's Edge, like the fight kind of is a bit long.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I could shorten it a bit. Like, I think there's a couple of interesting things about Sonic's Edge fight scene, right?
Mm.
Because like, I think they want to do a couple of like the main thing that it serves as a story-wise thing, right, is to be like, oh, this is brutal. She's being threatened, and she makes it out, right? Like
Yeah.
she wins the fight. But I do think they also want to do a couple of like animation things, like
Oh
animation
yeah,
twists in
they're
the
like
meanwhile, like when you see that her tail is actually, or like her head tail is actually four head tails, you know,
yeah, no,
stuff like that.
she does like cool octopus movement, things of this
Yeah,
nature.
it's cool, but yeah, there's a point to be made that I think some of them might lose a bit too much momentum in those fights.
Yeah.
I felt that with Spider Rose in particular, that I was like, at first it felt very fast. Like the first thing that happens
Mm.
is she's like, gas, chemical gas missile, go, blasts like two clones immediately. And then the rest is just like, it's a bit slow. It's a bit long, I suppose.
Yeah, no, it's like it's sort of like gains and loses from that, right?
Yeah. One thing I also kind of reflect upon having gone through with this is that like the episodes we've watched, which I've tried to pick out for like, but again, both sci-fi stuff, but also just like the meaning of things, have a strange relationship in my mind to like societal analysis.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like Good Hunting is where we got really into this, but like Pop Squad obviously has a lot of strange like
Yeah.
class dynamics. Like Snow in the Desert shines with its absence of like, well, what is actually going on this planet?
Yeah, it's an underworld only planet.
Yeah, Spider Rose like clearly hints towards like the idea that like there's stuff going on in the setting, like there's
Yeah,
like a civil war.
there's like a whole faction that got fucking purged.
Yeah, stuff like that. Golgotha obviously has the Catholic Church sending you a fucking alien ambassador in. Like, Swarm, obviously, like, we don't actually get the details there, but like, Swarm has the background is like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to breed a slave race for humankind, and you're like, interesting. Why? Like, how did we get here? You know, right? Like, because if you were like, yes, the Supreme Emperor of Earth says we should do this, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. That sounds like a
Mm.
monarch type glorious project.
I'm pretty sure it's just that guy. Like that guy in like maybe like a small startup.
Your professor fucks off from his department and comes back with a nuke, and you're like, wait, okay, I don't really know what the procedure is here anymore.
Yeah, no, he's like, and now we will never be threatened again. Like it sort of has that vibe that it is just like a fairly like not he's not on a mission from like a large entity is not the
He
vibe I
at least
get.
never mentions it. I haven't reflected upon it because it feels so obvious it must be.
I mean, he has like people who helped him synthesize some stuff,
I
but
suppose
that's
that's
it,
true, yeah.
right?
But
It's
like also he's like a scientist. He might have done that himself, right? Like
yeah,
I think he says we or something like that,
yeah, no,
but
but like
you're
it doesn't seem like it is necessarily that many people. Like he might be doing this on like a PhD grant.
I was gonna say like there's a cut scene in the middle of all of this when he's in the hive. He gets like a text message that's from the dean that's like, "Stop! You have classes to teach."
I want to have cool space sex in the hive.
Your PhD advisor is asking where you are. You're not showing up to the conferences.
Uh,
But like
I'm gonna show them at the conference when I bring a slave race.
that's gonna show up, Stevenson. But like I also think like because I hesitate to do this jargon, but I will invoke free robots again, right?
Yeah.
Which is like explicitly discussing like, and in the most sort of like centrist, look at these fools vibe, but it is discussing
No, it's
politics,
not
right?
centrist. It's lib shit.
Yeah, lib shit. Well, I think I consider those very closely related.
No, centrists are a very different kind of stupid.
Okay, fair enough. But like you know, there you are very explicitly discussing political stuff, but it is just sort of mist, you know?
Yeah,
It's mist in the wind. And you're like, yeah, dude. Like, yeah.
another John Scalzi venture.
Of course. I mean, dude, if you just wanted to talk about John Scalzi for a bit, you are
Nah,
allowed to.
we've reached all the episodes of his I've seen.
Okay.
It's those and I hate them. It's his home appliances grudge and his like, ah yes, no. We would be pretty stupid in a post-apocalypse, and like, I fucking guess,
Do
dude.
you think John Scalzi has read Freakonomics?
Uh, no. I don't know, man.
It feels like the same vibe to me. The sort of like,
No, Freakonomics is yet different.
okay,
We can't get into this.
I understand. I understand. I think one of the one of the sort of things we have not watched together, like that is also like a sort of recurring thing, is the sort of like adventure, like the sort of exploration into the unknown. There's a couple of episodes of this. I think did you end up watching from what was it from Vaulted Halls Untombed or something like that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's the sort of that stuff where it's like this like actiony but also just like sort of exploring into something. I think
Mm,
Jibaro to me is kind of in this category as well. Seek Out Religion is adjacent to it as well, I would say.
yeah.
And I was gonna say like an episode I think I liked more than you for some fairly obvious markers would be For He Can Creep,
Mm,
which you enjoyed the start of a great deal.
yeah. No, I didn't like the part where they were like, and now we're going to have the cats do an action fight.
But I do think like one of those things is that on occasion I want to say I think Bradley Love Death Robots, the quality of the dialogue is incredibly variable. I remarked upon this more than you did, but
Mm.
Spider Rose, which I think is a completely fine to solid episode, has like a I heard a noun. Let me explain what that noun means with fervor. And I'm just like, oh, this is not good exposition. There are better ways to do this.
I mean, it is hard in like that short a time scale.
I
So
understand.
we do kind of see like everyone like sort of brushing up against the bounds. And also like this is probably like mostly animation studios.
I agree. But like, I do think this is, and I'm not trying to be unkind, but this is like what you would put up as an example of bad exposition. Like it's like, yes, fair. Have you seen the dragons? Like dragons? You mean the great mythical beasts that disappeared 100 years ago, leaving the world in lacking for their majesty, and that we are now trying to find? And you're like, no, there's it's better to slow drip that. If you can't establish everything right away in like a good solid way, which is really hard, please slow drip it. And I think the thing that bothers me about Spider Rose specifically is that they have a mechanism built in, which is her PTSD flashbacks.
Alas.
Like even just having like I'm doing this for the mechanists, shapers die mechanist, like, would be better.
I think there might be another problem here, which is that it's Netflix.
Uh-huh.
And Netflix like famously has mandates that you like have to explain what's going on every now and then.
Really?
Yeah, no, like
Oh.
they like you make like a movie for Netflix and they're like, yeah, so we know that you're like in the like show don't tell business, but like people are going to be on their phone, so if you just like repeat what the main plot is like every like 15 minutes or so, that would be great.
This is not information I should have received while doing the podcast episode. This
I'm sorry that you had to receive it at all. I sort of thought you would know, and
I,
otherwise I would have like kept it from
I
you.
I have not watched a lot of Netflix in my days.
Me neither.
This might bother me for the rest of the day, and it's
I'm
early.
so sorry. Like Netflix is like such a deleterious cultural force. Like people who know what an algorithm is should not be allowed to interact with a movie studio.
Well, all right then. Um, recovering from that a little more. I think I was going somewhere, and I think I lost it a little bit. Ah. There is also, I want to say, I think you have watched the absolute worst episodes, like not on for this like little selection
Mm,
we've done, but the absolute worst episodes for this particular category of Love Death Robots, which is unkindly quirky Chungus episodes. Some of which are better, where they're just like, hey, we have a slightly funny idea. Let's throw it
mm,
out there. And you watched Smart Appliances, Dumb People,
yeah.
and Automated Customer Service, or what it's called,
Yeah.
which are the worst of those. There's a couple slightly better ones
Mm,
called like How the Yogurt Took Over, which despite its name is okay.
mm-hmm.
It's a completely fine episode.
Yeah.
It obviously runs on its quirk, its establishing quirk, but it's fine. There's another one called Alternate Histories, which is a bit worse, but not terrible by any means. That is just like, ooh, what if we, Hitler got killed, blah blah blah. Here's a little short animation about what would have happened.
Man, I think we should like surely there's like an alternate histories anthology TV show
There must
like
be.
coming down the pipe. Cuz like I feel like alternate histories having sort of a moment.
I was thinking about the show you watched like last year or something like that, the one with the Soviets landing on the moon.
Nah, that was longer ago. I just
Really?
like keep telling people about it because it has a very funny intro, which is the Soviets landing on the moon.
Yeah. You did show me that at one point.
Yeah, no,
I
I'm
like that
like,
apparently this is what your Peter Watts was before you read Peter Watts.
no, no, I don't care for it.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. I do think you could probably do it quite easily, right? Like, isn't it like a thing that in Hollywood you just have like a lot of these like generic historical sets? Like, you could just be like, I need a Wild West town, and you just be like, here.
I think that time might be past.
No, really?
It's hard to say, but it's definitely no longer quite the same. Like everything's CGI now and stuff.
Huh. But yeah, I mean, like, it seems like a very. I would definitely watch a show like that, especially if it was bad. As long as, like,
Well,
asterisk, just don't only do what if the Axis won World War II. Like I would even be okay with like what if the like Entente lost World War One. Just something else than World War II, for the love of God.
hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm currently engineering a twist on that, which is what if the Axis were democratic and the Allies were fascist?
Okay.
And I don't know if that's interesting or not,
I,
but
I think you're I,
sorry.
I think you're having your first moment of like, what if I did a map? What if I did an alt history map?
Anyway,
We cannot go there.
you really shouldn't have dug that thought up. um,
I do want to bring up one thing.
hmm,
I had forgotten how gender season 1 is.
yeah,
Like I was like I think when I was selecting the episodes for season 1, because I didn't like rewatch it in preparation for this,
hmm,
because I wanted to be somewhat unspoiled, so to speak. I had the memory that like, yeah, there's some stuff that comes up, but like there's a good amount. Like both Sonny's Edge and Good Hunting has that
yeah,
as like a very primary thing going on. And even in Beyond the Aquila Rift, there's some stuff there, right?
yeah.
Xenoblue, not
Big dumb
really.
man mainly.
Listen, it is what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
It is a type of writing you do.
I mean, like for like as horny a show, as Love, Death, Robots is,
Mm.
which I don't. I'm trying to figure out if we approve of that or not. I think we have to, just like on principle.
I
Um,
mean, I'll allow it. I think, okay. You know when so we're around in the queer community,
yeah.
and every now and then you meet someone who's just like a little bit too sex positive, and you're like, this isn't like a political stance anymore. This is like you are making this your thing. And it's like, I'm not saying you can't do that. That's, I think, genuinely my stance on Love, Death, Robots. It's like, it's not immoral by any means, but on occasion, I'm like, you do seem to have the vibe that showing a dick is the same thing as having a story.
Well, so I'm doing the mental calculus right now, and I
Yeah.
think um I can retract our necessary support for Love, Death, Robots being horny, because I think it might be primarily for boomers. And
Really?
well, I mean, look at all the John Scalzi bullshit.
Okay.
Like, it's definitely like millennials and up. Like, we might be the youngest people who have seen this show.
Oh, I think that's too extreme.
But
I understand where you're coming
I
from.
don't think it's like whatsoever appealing to the youth.
I think it is one of those things where, like, I don't know exactly when this shift happened, but I wonder if, like, you had the same thing when the Hays Code started getting repealed, where you're just like, oh my god, we can do this. We can have someone pissing on the show. We can have, we must have, every minute must have someone pissing. We must have so much piss. Like, that's Kill Team Kill, by the way. Quick shout out.
Oh yeah.
um, but, like, there is that feeling, right, where they're like, stop the camera. We got a dick. It's an animated dick. Pretty cool, right? Okay, back to the story. But do you remember the dick? And I
Uh
think there's some truth to that. Like, I think I guess in a way, I'm almost shocked this came out after Game of Thrones. You know what I mean? Like, I felt Game of Thrones would have normalized it too much. Or perhaps
no.
it is more a case of riding on the coattails of, like, there are
I
boobs.
think Game of Thrones hadn't blown it up yet.
Maybe, maybe.
But yeah, no, I think the issue is that it is a show that is happy to show sex, but it's showing it to people who are already fine with sex on TV, when in fact we need to like fix the youth.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I have
Sorry,
such
I'm starting to realize that I sound like a boomer now,
well,
which
yeah.
is the worst possible outcome.
We got him. It's been like a year of podcasting and we got you. Like, I do think it's hard to balance this, right? Because I don't care that much. I am
Yeah.
just mildly annoyed when the rest of the show suffers for it, you know? I like I do wonder sometimes. Like, I think about this with nudity in television sometimes, where like the first thing that started becoming okay was like breasts, right?
Mm.
And then we've gone to dicks, and we're still not quite at vulvas, right? But like perhaps one day. I I will say I realized I blanked on this. Is there a vulva on screen at one point in Good Hunting? That she's
Um,
transforming? Because I have that memory, and I didn't actually look when we were watching.
I wasn't looking for it either.
Right.
Um, like not as prominently as the dicks are.
Yeah, very they're prominent.
Um,
I will say, like, on occasion, and it's hard for me to separate this from the rest of this. On occasion, they are showing breasts less as sexualized and more like, hey, this is just a thing that's around.
yeah,
Like, there's a scene in Good Hunting where she's like sitting in rags in the temple, and there's just like a little bit of nipple on screen, and you're
yeah,
like, this actually doesn't feel that sexualized. It just
no,
feels like a woman who's having a real bad time and does not have like a lot of clothes to go around, like it actually feels fine.
yeah,
And I can give credit there.
mm,
Obviously then you have stuff like Beyond the Aquila Rift that is, and I try to limit my use of this word, gratuitous.
yeah. I mean, here's the thing, right? Love, Death, Robots like tends to like follow a structure, which is like story setup, like centerpiece that's like maybe the action.
Yeah.
Well, right, it's either like violent action or it's a sex scene, and like you sort of resolve the story. And like it is sort of like there to like hold the middle up, right?
Yeah.
That is like what they use sex for sometimes.
Yeah. I do also think, I think there's a strange balance between the show, and I think I even on my first watch, I think I started feeling this tension. Some episodes are very happy to be just pure vulgar, just happy to be like,
Hmm.
dick. Like, aren't you? Again, like kind
Yeah.
of what we talked about. There are others, and I think Snow in the Desert is one of these, that feels like they're trying to be artsy about it, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to be a little French about the whole situation.
Yeah. No. Like I don't know. I think well, Snow in the Desert is a bit odd in the sense that it is like, oh, we can have violence and sex, not
This
just
is true.
one or the other.
I think it's like the thought that pops out to me is that I think it's trying to be like sensual and erotic in Snow in the Desert.
Well, yeah,
They're
which is
being
sort
like,
of
oh,
undermined by the fact that like only one of the characters seems to be like that, like in touch with their feelings, and the other one is like, ah, woman.
it it has the sexuality of, I'll allow it.
Like the sexual charisma is very ill matched between the two of them.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's not doesn't.
we need to stop talking about Snow in the Desert
I
because
know.
there's so little meat on that bone.
And yet it's like it's at the nexus of so much of Love, Death, Robots to me about like the run throughs here. But
um
yeah, like something like Beyond the Killer Rift, I think it's kind of in between, right? Because I don't think you make a sex scene that long if you think you're just doing it to be a bit vulgar and edgy.
no, they were like, people are gonna like this. This is gonna be hot. This is the
Yeah.
center that like ties the episode together with like a little bit of excitement.
But yeah, it's too long. I'm sorry. Like I'm not anti-sex, but like this one was too long.
I don't know if I agree. Like, I think it's a to bring back the gripe I had during the episode.
Yeah.
I think they should do it in anti-gravity or in, no, in zero gravity
Well, I
rather.
will actually give you. I think if they did it in anti-gravity, I might not think it's too
Right?
long.
It's a little bit too mundane to right because like the action scenes are like, hey, here's some like we're putting our back into the animation to
Spider
like
Rose is really good at this.
and like this is just like hey here's like two like conventionally attractive people banging in regular gravity and like being a little bit naughty with some champagne and like if your shit is like we're putting like a centerpiece in to like really like hold up the action, you gotta match like the like energy of like we're putting like a lot of blocking into the violence animation instead of like regular vanilla sex.
I had a very unfortunate realization just now, Jorgen. I don't know why, but the champagne thing in Beyond the Killer Rift bothers me, and I think I've come to realize that it connects back to what you said, that this is a show for boomers, and like the idea of like pouring champagne on your body is like, holy shit, this is decadence unmatched by anything in the world. This is beyond the pale. You're telling me you're wielding champagne sexually and standing up while having sex? Oh boy. The frontiers are being absolutely explored.
Yeah, no, and I think like the issue is that like you can't really do, or rather like you can do the same things with sex that you can do with violence. I think like you could just like put like some more exciting stuff than this in the middle of the episode.
Yeah.
I don't think like Netflix would actually let that fly.
Yeah, I think so. Why?
I know. Well, I think like I'm not sure if it's Netflix, but I think it is just like a whole different like level of like the culture does not stand for this.
Interesting.
And like everybody's like, well yeah, no, so we gotta like keep it a bit tame and not have like put our back into like the sex animation.
Yeah. It's just like I think the thing that also makes me reflect upon that scene is just too that it's like I get that the point is that these two people are hot for each other, and
Mm,
that's a reason why like he's maybe a bit dumb and takes a
yeah.
while to be like, oh, there's something weird here. Um, but I do agree that like it conveys so little beyond that. You know, like I don't know why it needs to try to convey this like level of decadence either.
I don't know. I think it is just like the wish fulfillment that he's sort of experiencing is very clearly the point,
I
right?
suppose, yeah, but there's an
But
argument.
yeah, no, like he should have more interesting wishes.
Yes, I think that's much fair. He's like a space trucker, man. Like he's probably like having a
Like he
chocolate
has
bar is
the
the
heart
highlight.
of a boomer, right? He's the audience stand-in.
I mean, he's also like the image of a boomer's like dream, right? Like he is so wide. His face is so wide.
His body is so wide.
Like imagine current like depictions of Superman and like scale him to the side by like 30%.
Yeah, no, like I do just like want to put a flag here that like the body representation in this show is fucking abysmal. Like
Well,
I think
there's
it's
the
gonna
governor from Good Hunting. She's showing some body positivity.
no, he's a grotesque Englishman.
Two
He,
strikes in one.
well, yeah, no, it's like, oh yeah, no, this is like a fat disgusting person.
Yeah.
Like that is the language of the show. Like that might be the only fat person we see, and he's like a murderer.
You have put down as like a recurring point of analysis in these episodes the phrenology corner.
Yeah.
There is a lot of stuff being done with skull shapes and face shapes. Um, I will say, like, I think one thing that makes me think of is that, like, in something like Bad Traveling,
Mhm.
it's not actually like antagonistic. People just look like that in that
Yeah.
animation style. But then you have something like Good Hunting, where it's like Chinese people, normal. British people, the like height of their faces to the width is like 5 to 1. Which I don't know what a real human face has for that scale, but like I don't think it's that.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's like more than 2 to 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, right, and like also just like generally, like I'm pretty sure like most of the boobs in the show look the fucking same. Like the exact same.
Yeah.
I think they might be using all the same like perky breasts like default model. Like it's just like
Me, professional animator Turk, typing in perky breasts on Google and being, that's it.
and like uh, to be clear, this also hits the men. Men are now also a target for giving dysphoria to. Right? It's like, oh yeah, no, you need to be like as wide as a fridge, or like you're a failure as a man. And
So,
just to briefly indulge a long-held gripe I have, I want to like throw some shade at Divinity here.
Fascinating. Okay.
Um, which has some of the like most grotesque and not optional body models in video game history, I think, for absolutely no fucking reason. Um, and that's all I need to say about that.
All right.
Um,
But don't you think it's refreshing in a way that, like, in the last couple of years, height has become an obsession, and we've dropped width as far
I
as
don't know.
male beauty is concerned?
I think we're just doing all of it.
But we're switching the dimension. Eventually, we'll get to depth. We'll get to the uh x-axis. It's been a while since I did 3D modeling.
I mean, I think it's sort of you can't really apply axes. I think it would be Y.
Isn't
Yeah, it would be
isn't
Y.
y height in like Blender?
No, it's Z.
Really?
I don't know Blender, but it's usually Z.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Um,
But yeah, like it is interesting to me. On one hand, the variety, and on the other hand, the lack of variety.
yeah.
Like the other thing, I guess, is like in combination to our two now previous topics, there's a lot of nudity in this show,
Mm,
and not all of it is explicitly sexual, right?
yeah.
Like I'm thinking of the what is it called, like the running of the Tyrannosaur, the one that has the Mr. Beast announcer,
Yeah.
which we also watched off show.
Yeah, no, I don't recall the name, but it's like a race at the on the rings of Mars for the top of the galaxy's royalty.
Yeah, and it also has the like we're just gonna make everyone nude, everyone who's doing this like running,
Yeah.
which is like okay, like I get it, like this is what the fucking Greeks did. There's precedent, but also like that's not why you're doing it, is it?
And
Though?
also these women don't look like athletes.
Yeah, no, that's a running thing too.
Like Sonny should be Jack
Sonny, duh.
from Sonny's Edge.
But like she's not. I don't think she's an athlete.
Well, first of all, I think her monster body would probably feel more comfortable like piloting her
Well,
if
she can
she
do
was
that with her.
Jack.
I mean, she could do that with her next body. She
I'm
goes to the
very
body clinic.
unclear on whether she can have an X body or whether she's like she's out of doubles now.
It comes back to the like fucking. I only had one clone for you to kill, and now you got me.
Well, oh god, yeah, no, so good. Um, but yeah, no, just like putting a big flag here and like, you know, just like, just even have different breast types. Come on, like, the world is so rich and diverse, and you're like, nah, the only people with an unusual morphology are British.
And
Everyone
yet,
else is sort of like a bit wide and a bit hot.
yeah, no, it's a fair point. I will say I don't think I thought about it to that extent outside of Good Hunting, but
I mean, it's not that deep,
no, it's
right?
not. No, it's not. Like in a weird way, can I say, even though I know you didn't like it very much, isn't Bad Traveling actually quite good at this?
Uh,
There's some variety.
too far in the memory hole.
All right, fair enough. I think there's some decent like body variety there, though not
Hmm.
huge. Um, by the standards,
Yeah,
by the standards.
but yeah, no, it's the foibles of like the sort of like realistic animation style. Just like, come on.
I mean, there's a lot of non-realistic animation in this show as
Yeah,
well,
no,
right?
I mean there is like every now and then when like people are supposed to be grotesque, they like flip the switch to cartoony. But like as soon as it's supposed to be like remotely realistic, they're like, all right, it's the two bodies,
Yeah.
and there's not more bodies than that.
It is in a strange way. Like I do wonder how much like the interplay of Love Death Robots like influenced each other. Like 'cause these are different studios too. Like there are some studios who are doing multiple episodes,
Yeah,
but
for
like
sure.
essentially every episode is a new studio, right?
Like I
But
think every studio probably gets like one go per season tops.
yeah. And it's strange to me how many similarities there are between all of these.
Hmm.
Despite that, like both to an extent in animation, right? But like, because I'm thinking something like Sonic Edge and Beyond the Aquila Rift, they're fairly similar looking people, right?
Well,
I think so.
I think there's like a fair difference in like the scale of realism they're going for.
For sure, but like I'm thinking about like what the body types end up looking like,
Yeah,
right? With the exception of Dishonored Man from Sony's Edge, like
yeah.
there is a pretty clear correlation there. And same time, like I think there's a lot of like sort of story setups that end up similar and with like kind of similar foibles as well.
Mm.
Right. And I wonder how much of that is like the animation studio part of it that like, hey, the animation is like the main thing we're doing. And if we can make a good story on top of that, cool. If we can't, that's fine.
It's probably somewhat expensive to have a second body type animated.
I suppose. But yeah, like the fact that it correlates across so many different episodes, right? Because like
Mm.
you don't need this is a hot take. You don't need everyone to have perky breasts. Uh
The exact same type of perky breasts. It's like a, oh no, it's probably a D cup because they're very small otherwise.
yeah. I'm not gonna comment on the attempts at guessing cup size because it's more complicated than people think.
Well, yeah, no, that's why I'm saying it's probably a D because like they're so small otherwise.
That's fair, that's fair. But yeah, like it is. I do genuinely quite wonder, like to what extent, especially after season one, right?
Mm.
Because I don't know what the process looked like. I don't know if like the
Yeah,
studios ever met each other in that sense. They're like, hey, I'm making these perky breasts. What are you up to? And they're like, damn it, me too. Uh,
yeah, no, like I mean they do have like a fair amount of shared credits. And they also mostly based on short stories. Never Peter Watts. Um even though I reckon he would be a good fit.
do you just want to go to the Love Death Robots headquarters and be like, here's a couple of books by Peter Watts?
Actually, I did want to say this at some point because like I have just like very consistently gone, this reminds me of a Peter Watts short story
Yeah,
like throughout this entire season.
you sure have.
So I will just say, if you're looking for a Peter Watts short story correct collection, the one I have read that I've been consistently reminded of is called Beyond the Rift. That is what I keep referencing.
All right, cool.
But yeah, there's a fair amount of adapted short stories and also like a sort of a production team that sort of seems to be coordinating stuff, but it's not clear like how exactly that works.
Because my thought also, I remember like when we were talking about Black Mirror, right? I said like one of those things that to me, and I don't know, but to me became apparent is that like after like season one and two, Black Mirror became Black Mirror, capital letters,
Yeah.
and you weren't producing a thing for Black Mirror, you were producing Black Mirror. And there's a part of me that wonders if there's some similar process going on with Love Death Robots.
I think so, right? We have like a bit of formula emerging with like, oh yeah, no, we have set up, action, set piece, denouement.
Yeah, and some of that can obviously be traced back to like what is the easiest thing to depict on
Yeah.
television, what is how stories tend to work. But there is like there's just a general sensation that like the pacing feels very similar across a
Mhm.
lot of episodes. And I do know that they do like they aren't just obviously this is true for all adaptations, but they aren't just like verbatim doing the short
Yeah.
story. Like quick example, if we're gonna take for He Can Creep, in the original short story, the cat agrees to the devil's deal and then
Ah,
reneges rather
that
than
is so
rejecting.
much more cat-like.
Yeah, I know it makes so much sense to me. Isn't that right, podcast over there? But yeah, like so. I do wonder. It's hard to say, right? Because I think, especially with an anthology that is being made by different studios, at
Mm,
that it's probably not that apparent. Like, I don't think people like the animators who were chosen for like seasons 2, 3, 4,
yeah.
like sat down in a room and was like, we have to do it like they did it in Beyond the Aquila Rift.
Yeah, no, well, clearly nobody did, because we never reached those heights again.
Do you think it's your favorite episode?
It might be. There's a fair number of good episodes here. Like, I don't know, like Sonny's Edge is just also very good. Like, I think it might be the very pulse of the
I was
machine,
gonna
though.
say that seemed like the other one,
Like,
which
it
like
does just, like, hit me, like, right in the dome.
I will say it's interesting to me because I was uncertain what you were gonna feel about that one.
It's
Because
so gorgeous.
here's
Like,
the
I
thing,
am such a sucker for gorgeous animation, and I'm, like, a bit of a hater for the, like, realistic style they're doing every
yeah.
now and then.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I think it's important for you to know. You know, I mentioned Zima Blue is
Mhm.
like a little bit divisive, but like
Yeah.
broadly considered good. The Very Pulse of the Machine is also a little divisive, but broadly considered kind of mid.
Boo.
You know what? I There's a part of me. Would you be up for like doing a little bit IMDb guessing?
Um, okay, yeah.
So I think we're doing this in the order we watched them, and obviously you may be unlocking some secret memories here because we didn't blind you to this, so you may just remember from when we picked up the episodes. But I just don't think all of them were correct if I remember correctly. But whatever. Hitting
Yeah.
you with try, let's say plus minus 0.5, and you get a point. Okay.
Okay.
Spider Rose
Ooh.
IMDb rating.
7.
Straight on, actually, it's 7.0. Um, let's see, Golgotha.
Now, I have received information that it's below 7. Um, I think it's gotta be in the 6 to 7 range, so I'm saying 6.5.
Too high. It's a 5.2, actually.
What?
Yeah, no, it's quite brutal, right?
But like it's at worst
I
5.
don't actually know what people's issue with Golgotha is. I think it might just be like a too short, too straightforward.
I think it might be the meat eaters. I think it might be people who fucking hate fish. You know what? Dolphins are evil. So like they do have 1 point.
So we're getting into propaganda. Fair, fair. Okay. Swarm.
Ooh, it does have sex. It does have realistic animation. People are suckers for those. Um, I'm feeling like I'm aiming at 7.2.
You get a point, and you should have been guided more by your mention of sex, because it's a 6.9. The Very Pulse of the Machine.
Ooh, you told me people were divided on this
Now, I
one.
should say, I'm not bringing that from reviews, I'm bringing that from, like, discussion I have seen.
Okay, now I'm going to just like issue a personal verdict. To me, this is a 9.
Okay.
Um, I think people land. Ooh, no, I have to have faith. I reckon it's like, around like 7.8.
You just barely get a point because it's a 6.8. I don't think,
No, I don't get a point. The
you think it's
floor.
one too far away? Okay.
Yeah, you said half a point in each
Oh, yeah, you're
direction.
right, you're right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fair,
Yeah,
fair
no,
point, fair
that's
point.
that's very far off.
People don't like artsy stuff. Now, moving on to the most mentioned episode in this
No,
episode.
people don't like two women protagonists. I mean
At
this
1.5
genuinely.
women protagonists, I want to claim. In
Huh?
this case. I want to say 1.5 women
I, I
protagonists.
think I
You
think
think
I think
Io
the
is a lady?
planet has girl boss
Well, now we're,
energy.
we're writing new levels of gender here. Snow in the desert.
Ooh, uh, I reckon it's like 6.3.
You're gonna be so sad. It's a 7.8.
I I object gravely.
It's so reminiscent of Black Mirror, where every now and then people just had like such positive opinions about a horrible episode and were just upset.
Well, I think the thing is people don't like sit down to think and talk about these for an hour. And I
But
think,
I don't. Is there even enough in Snow in the Desert to be like, oh, cool stuff? Like it's one big
well,
fight scene.
there is breasts, there's fighting, there's like a cool like water torture or dry. It's hard to succinctly spell it, but like
Yeah.
right there's dune stuff going on. So I reckon if you just like squint and immediately move on, like this episode is very enjoyable to like half recollect.
Another victory for conditional associating. Ooh, that looks like Dune.
Yeah, that is where I'm placing it for sure.
Pop Squad.
Ooh, sad white man. Uh, killing children, sex. Uh, that's gotta be
There's
like
barely sex.
7.3.
You do not get a point. It's a 8.1.
I did not have enough faith in my own judgment.
Moving on to Sonny's Edge.
Ooh, women, monsters.
But there is a lesbian woman. At least
Um,
one.
I don't know if that's a bonus or a penalty.
Right? That's the curious part.
Because, like, on the one hand, women, on the other hand, breasts. Like, I am, I'm really applying some grim judgments to, like, the average
Noticing.
IMDb rater here.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go, like, 6.8.
8.2. You had a shot here to have faith, and you did not, and you lose a point for it.
I don't know. I think that one rides purely on kaijus, which like fair enough. I think you can go there, and I don't morally condemn that.
You have 3 episodes left. Beyond the Aquila Rift.
Beyond the Kilo Rift, we have breasts, we have horror, we do not have action. But it's a bit smart, and I reckon people like feeling a bit smart. So I'm going to throw another like 7.4.
8.5. Highest rated
Okay,
episode. But you do not get a point.
not even
You
close.
keep lacking faith. Good hunting.
Um, ooh. Well, I think we need to expect a large penalty for all the British people, like review bombing it. Then again, British people are self-loathing, and they do like being mentioned, so maybe it's not that big a factor.
They do
Um,
really like being mentioned. It turns out like losing a worldwide empire really gives you any publicity is good publicity vibes.
um, does China have access to IMDb?
Not sure actually.
Because I reckon that would push it by like a whole fucking point.
Honestly,
I'm gonna once more try to play it safe with like 7.5.
you just barely get a point. Which
Mm,
direction do you think?
up.
Yes, 8.0.
Woo.
And finally, Zima Blue, Artland.
Oh, it's gotta be somewhere around. Yeah, no, I'm happy to place it at 7.5 again.
You miss, it's an 8.3.
Okay.
So I will say, I think you were broadly in similar areas,
Mm,
but you do only get 3 points out of 8. No, sorry,
10.
10 episodes.
Yeah, no, well, I'm glad I sometimes underestimated the people.
And sometimes very much overestimated the people.
Yeah, no, like, I mean, I think Golgotha really threw me.
I think so too. It does distinctly seem like this is one of those shows that people got more critical over the course of the show.
Yeah, no, I know. I think maybe Golgotha's just a bit too short, and people are like, I just sat down.
Just sat down and now the fish aliens are killing me because I'm trying to eat meat? Wokeness has gone too far.
It's it's interesting. Maybe it's like some Japanese whaling activists.
Maybe. I will say the most psychically damaging for me was Snow in the Desert getting a 7.8.
Oh, I had already repressed that.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. You
But
can
yeah.
ask me anytime and I will give you an update on that.
But yeah, no, I'm I'm a bit disappointed that people don't see the brilliance of the very pulse of the machine. But I'm generally positively surprised, though. I think people don't sufficiently judge Love, Death, Robots for not having its class politics present.
I think that's a critique we can look at many shows with, if you
Yeah,
want to. Now, I will say Golgotha may have been, what was it, like a 5.8 or something
yeah.
like that. Um, it does go down to like a 4 for some episodes. So let's take what we can get,
The concert?
the concert. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it is
no.
like a 4.3 or something.
I, yeah, no. Apparently, the story behind that one is that David Fincher had a personal grudge and finally wanted to live his dream of making a Red Hot Chili Peppers music video.
I really? That's just, okay. We can't get into this.
It's very puzzling.
I'm
Um,
sorry we can't parasocialize David Fincher as much as we parasocialize
yeah.
Charlie Brooker.
There's a lot of like different themes that stretch like 1 or 3 episodes in this one. Uh such as the lacking class politics, being like weirdly present in Good Hunting and Pop Squad.
Yeah.
Um, uh, we do have like our very differently successful like exposition bombs. Um, we I think Swarm sort of stands out for like being like as much about hubris.
Yeah, I say so.
Like I don't think it, it's a bit of a shame because it's one of the most Peter Wattsy ones, and
I think if you wanted to draw a hubris one, I think Golgotha would be the other one.
well, yeah, I think it's a bit too punchy, right,
Yeah.
to be quite as the same vibe. But yeah, no, we have an interesting smattering here. I am of course sad that we never returned to the heights of animation of the very pulse of the machine. I like colors and I like shapes. I don't know what to tell you.
It's like, you know, the bell curve graph meme, but you're like age, and you're like, I like colors at the start, and then somewhere in the middle, you're like, Call of Duty is the artistic medium, and then you're like, you hit like 30 again, and you're like, actually, colors are pretty cool.
I think that might be less age and more like literal year, with like the 2010s being the middle.
What a fucking decade, man. It was rough.
Video games used to look awful.
Do we still have the Mexico piss filter?
Probably.
That makes sense.
But yeah, no, 9/11 really did some damage to American cinema.
Apparently, yeah. So in many ways, we have the Middle East to blame for this.
I mean, it was the Saudis.
That was the Saudis.
Probably. I don't know where that comes from. I keep hearing it, so I have sort of semi-adapted it, but I do not actually know why people keep saying that.
I love doing conspiracy theories an hour and 15 minutes into our podcast.
Yeah, no. The Saudis have enough reasons to be hated. We do not need to successfully pin 9/11 on them.
The same is true of most people who have conspiracy theories about them.
Yeah.
Just focus on the little stuff.
Yeah, no. Just like oppose monarchy in general.
They don't have to be lizard
Keep it
people.
simple.
Yeah. And with that, we have wrapped up our journey through Love, Death, Robots.
Yeah.
And I suppose we shall be returning to the primary purpose of this podcast.
Well,
after Black Mirror ended.
It's interesting, right? Because we have sort of a back and forth between a Black Mirror-esque, and now we're going back to Star Trek.
Yeah, and speaking of going back to Star Trek, where are you taking us, Jorgen?
I've deliberated on this, and maybe we're going to do the whole canola. We're taking us to Discovery.
Okay, that doesn't mean that much to me.
I guess we're not doing the whole canola because Picard is just unpodcastable because it's too serialized.
Our review for Star Trek Picard, unpodcastable. Done.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you for Star Trek Discovery next week.
See you on the other side.
Cheers.